The only thing that I forgot today were my crayons, obviously, because I was gifted a coloring book that you have done all the illustrations in, which is absolutely beautiful. One of how many, Adrienne?
This is my first. I have submitted another one through Dover Publishing that will be out next spring, and I'm working on one now that hopefully will be out next spring.
You know what's great about this is the pictures are so darn big, so you could even take these into nursing homes, and the older folks would appreciate these. But they have tarot cards that go along with it, right?
Yeah, it's called an oracle deck. They Schiffer Publishing asked me to design a deck, which is something that helps people. They do readings from it, or they get empowerment from the cards. I had never done anything like it, so it was new. A little scary, but it was fun. Oracle, you can just do whatever you want. Then another
it's beautiful.
book. Thank you. So you can just kind of do what inspires you. Whereas the tarot is very specific. It's, and I'm working on that next.
Good. And you also do work for the Humane Society?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that.
I would say it's about 7 years. I did a painting for a friend of mine. She wanted, she was doing a benefit for the Seeing Eye Dog Association in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and said, you have to paint me some dogs. We have to. And I was like, I don't have a dog. How can I paint a dog? So I was a little nervous. And then I thought, I really love the pit bull, the English pit bull. They're just so cute. So I thought, okay, I'll draw a couple of those. And they sold for the benefit. And then Carl Miner, who runs the Humane Society, saw it. And he was kind of like, wow, we would really like to use that dog. You think we could do that sometimes? And then it just sort of turned into, oh, okay, well, I'll draw this for this event. And I'll draw this for that. And, next thing you know, he's kind of got this life of his own, and he's showing up on billboards, which is really exciting.
That's
even
neat.
now is exciting.
Does he have a name?
Spike.
Spike.
He is Spike.
His name. Oh, good. All right.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a snowball effect then, is what happened. All right. Now, you have 2 daughters. And what are their names?
Sarah and Gwyneth.
And how old are they?
16 and 13.
And in this day and age, it is so difficult, aside from everything that they're hearing in school and all their friends and the peer pressure. And, do you think that they look at their mom and say, she's got it going on and she really knows what she's doing? Like, how do you take what you have learned from your own self-belief in what it is that you do, and you followed your dream, no matter how big it was? The dream is here. And how can those girls learn from that?
I try to do it sort of on the side, because sometimes when you just say something directly at this age, they're kind of like, okay, Mom, right, whatever. So they're not as they do ask me questions. They want help, but what I'd like to do is give them some advice, especially with art, because they are both very talented, and they're hearing the same things that I was hearing. Oh, art, that's not very lucrative, and do you really want to do that? But I'm now starting to say, no, actually, you really should do these things, and you're good at them, and it can be lucrative. It can, so don't let anyone tell you that it isn't. Especially, they're very internet savvy. There's a lot going on online, and they're so way ahead of me there. I'm just an amateur when it comes to that, although that's what I'm working on. So trying to get a larger internet presence, which I have one. It's not, where I would like it to be.
It will grow eventually. It will grow as soon as they get a load of, your coloring books and knowing who you are, where they can find it, and the great abilities that you have and your talent.
Thanks.
So
Thank you.
The other thing that I wanted to say was the fact that when you're out there drawing, are you in your own zone? How do you get there? Where do you go, and what makes you get there? Because I know how difficult it has to be to shut out the world, and when you're artistic like that, you're not in the zone all the time. You kind of have to get yourself there. It's kind of like a poet. You can't just sit down and write a poem or write a book. Can't. So how do you get there? How do you find your way in there?
I have to set deadlines. I must. Because I know that's not very magical, but that for me, I must have a deadline, and then I must have a space of time where I'm not interrupted. And the internet is something that is a huge interruption, and that's something I need to really step back from. And also, my girls, when they come home from school, they're my job. That's what I do, and I cannot do any kind of art at that time. So I try to do it during the day, and also it's very. I like music, just very, corny, typical things. I like to have certain music sometimes, and it really does go. The time absolutely disappears when I'm involved in something, when I'm drawing it. So it's good to set a goal, and it's important for me to have a goal and a deadline.
There's no set formula for creativity. Either you have it or you don't.
It's
Either
true.
you're in there or you're not. And
It's true.
the other thing that I wanted to say was, I don't know about you. When I was in high school, even upon graduating high school, you had friends that were in the world of art. They were good. They could paint, they could draw, they could make things. But there was almost that negativity that formed around someone who was artsy. Oh gosh, yep, go to New York, starving artist, you're not going to make it.
Right.
And you, like many others, you moved on forward, and the key here is just to believe in yourself is what you are doing, and keep that creativity and do what you're doing. So I learned a lot from you, but do you have anything else to add to that portion of what you learned about believing in yourself to catch your dream?
I do want to add that, I was saying earlier about don't listen to outside forces if you absolutely believe this is what you're supposed to be doing. And sometimes it's just like being a parent. It's like you do 20 great things as a parent, and then you do that one bad thing, and it's like, really don't worry about that one thing, because that's kind of what happened to me. I was always involved in art. It was just kind of this natural thing. I had wonderful art teachers. They were all very encouraging. And then I kind of had one that was just sort of like, oh, you're not really serious about this. I don't think you should do this and pursue it. And instead of listening to the 20 others, I was kind of stopped for a while. I was 16, and that's a tough age. But that did stop me for a little bit. And maybe that was good, though, because I think what that did then, when I finally did sit down and think, wait a minute, I'm going to go to school for this. I'm going to do this. Sometimes you just have to kind of trust yourself.
And you did, and see where you're at. So good for you. Thanks. Do you have any professors from Kutztown that you want to give a little shout out to that might be listening?
Well, Kevin McCluskey was my illustration professor. He was great. I had Kate Clare was another one. I had so many. I feel bad. I'm not going to be able to. They were all good. Miles DeCoster, who is actually an artist at the Goggle Works now, Mr. Bullock and Mr. Landis. I had so many that were wonderful. And Bonham.
Oh, well, good. Do you have a website that people can find the journey or your other coloring books at?
I have a blog. It's Adrienne Trafford blogspot.com. And then I have links on there to my Etsy shop and also to my art page on Facebook. So.
Excellent. All right, Adrienne Trafford, thank you so very much. You
Thank
did
you.
a great job. And I can't wait to find some crayons at home. So there you are on the People Chronicles. I'm Jackie Hoffman.